Welcome to Mastering the Art of Success. I'm your host, Debbie DiMaggio. I am here today with Mike Adams, founder and CEO of IntroStars. I am so excited to have him here. We're booked. The podcast is booked through the end of the year. We're booking into 2027. But when I met Mike, I was like, he needs to be on this show. I'm just so excited to have you here today. I just feel like there's a lot happening with my book, Mindset in Motion. So I am literally into motion, and momentum is just flying. And I feel with you, I think our relationship is really gonna be propelled into the stratosphere. So let's properly introduce you, and then I want to dive in literally and figuratively after what you just shared with me. Mike Adams is the founder and CEO of IntroStars, a purpose-driven, community-driven startup building the platform for the intro economy. He's on a mission to make introductions trackable, transparent, and financially rewarding for everyone involved. Before launching IntroStars, Mike was one of the earliest employees at Zoom in Europe, helping scale the company's partnerships during its hypergrowth phase. A supernatural superconnector, Mike has built a network of 30,000 plus professionals and has attended over 1,000 in-person events, constantly bringing people together to create opportunities. He also hosts the Superconnectors podcast, where he interviews top networkers, founders, and deal makers about how relationships drive success. Through IntroStars, Mike is redefining how referrals work, turning everyday connections into meaningful business outcomes and new income streams. His vision is to inspire millions of people to become super connectors and unlock the value of their networks in a fair, scalable way. Welcome, Mike Adams.
Wow, thank you so much, Debbie. What an intro. I'm blushing. But no, I also instantly felt your incredible energy. I think we kind of vibed at that same frequency. We're both extremely energetic connectors, always trying to bring people together. And no, I just love that experience of connecting the dots. You meet people,
Absolutely.
you feel their vibe, and you instantly think, who can I connect? Could I connect that person with? And you just feel it, no, from a vibrational point of view. And I think we both felt that right away. It was incredible.
Absolutely, absolutely. When I was, I always think that and say that. Even when I was little, I was like connecting the dots one person at a time. I in my head when I in a dream when I was little, I'm like, I have to get to know everyone. How am I going to get to know everyone? It's like connecting the dots one person at a time throughout the world. And I really feel, I mean, you are a super connector, and it's so fun to meet someone who that's how I feel. Every time I meet someone, I'm like, who can I connect them with? And I already know I've connected you with a few people that you guys are already launched.
Absolutely. Listen, the
Uh,
few introductions you've made to me were already incredible. So, no, absolutely. I just love that. As soon as you meet someone, getting great introductions right away. And I think that's really what defines a super connector. No, that term is
right.
not in the dictionary, it's a self definition. But what is a super connector? It's really someone who just naturally, automatically introduces people as soon as they meet someone. They just know right away who they can introduce and go out of their way to make those introductions instantly. And I just love to meet other super connectors, but then introduce the super connectors to each other. So it's kind of creates this explosion of super connectors. And so that's really my
Absolutely.
purpose, my mission today is to bring super connectors together and to inspire the next generation of super connectors.
I love it. It's so important. I mean, it's so cool because you meet people that are, I'm in a BNI group, Business Networking International, and they're really great people and they're there to refer and to connect. But once in a while, you'll meet someone who's a super connector like JoJo and Jesse or so. It's like all of a sudden, it's like, okay, this is a whole different level. Because what happens with you and I is that we meet someone and automatically our mind goes, wait, he needs to be connected to X. And like when I said you and Jesse need to talk, I don't even need to say anything more. It's like it just took off, I'm sure. So let's talk about your early years. You're coming to us from London right now. Share with us where you were from, what was life growing up, just and then did you know where you'd be today, where you are now, when you were younger?
There were so many twists and turns in my journey, which is really interesting. So I grew up in a small kingdom in the middle of Europe called Belgium, in Brussels, speaking French and English. My dad's from California, my mom is Belgian. And as a kid, I was super nerdy. I was a shy nerd on my computer all day. And I thought I would never have to talk to anyone because I could just program video games on my computer. So I could be in front of a screen all day. So literally not at all what I envisaged for my career. And then one thing led to another. One of my friends got me into theater. Was I was on stage, obviously doing a bunch of theater plays. Then I was brought into big tech companies where I had to do demonstrations at trade shows and presentations in front of journalists. And I was on TV a bunch of times. So I started becoming more and more confident as a public speaker, as a presenter. And then I became a professional presenter, doing TV shows, doing for big tech companies, doing keynote presentations in front of hundreds of journalists. So again, very surprising, not at all what I had imagined as a kid. And then about 10, 15 years ago, I went to my first ever business networking event in London, and I had no expectations. I just walked in a room full of strangers, went to the bar to get a glass of water, and started chatting with the guy next to me randomly. And I just enjoy it. I enjoyed the process. It was just friendly. It was just like, fine, whatever. How can I help you? Who could I introduce you to? And then one thing led to another. I started working the room, talking to everyone, and very quickly realized that I could introduce people I had just met to each other because they could help
Right.
each other. And I just loved that energy, that vibe. So I went to another one, another one, another one. And after 2.5 years, I ended up going to 1,000 networking, 15 events a
Wow.
week, 3 events a day, every single day. And what blew my mind is going to all these events. I spoke to so many people who are all looking for introductions. Everyone's looking for introductions. And I met a bunch of people who were professional networkers. And that fascinated me. On their business card, it said networker. And those people literally are professional networkers who go to all these events to pick up potential introductions they could make for each other, potential, bits of information they could exchange with each other, leads. This was in commercial real estate. So any project would be millions of dollars. So one introduction could be $1 million project. And so these
Wow.
networkers are literally out there to figure out who they can introduce, which companies are moving to a new office, what interior design they could, project they could sell, etc. And then I slowly started building trust with those people, and they brought me into their trusted circle of super networkers. And then every day after the networking event, we'd go for coffee the next day and exchange leads and introductions. And I realized there's this underground world of professional
Mhm.
networkers and professional introducers. And I was blown away. These are $1 million deals being done by just doing introductions and referrals. And very quickly, I built a pipeline of $7 million of business just networking. I didn't do a single
Wow.
cold call, no cold emails, none of that. I was just networking day in, day out, every single day, and exchanging like referrals and introductions with other super networkers. And I just saw, wow, this is incredible. Most people don't realize there is so much money on the table in the world of introductions and referrals. And I realized a lot of these introductions are done a bit under the table as a gentleman's agreement. It's just on a handshake, no brown envelope kind of thing. There's no official platform to track introductions, to make sure people do get paid referral commissions, and to track it over time. And so I thought, if only I could build, this platform to make it more easy and transparent and trackable. And so that's what I'm doing today, right? Bringing my
No
personal experience
question.
as a worker
Right, that's
into a
incredible. Well, it's so I'm visual, so I see you as this little kid, behind his computer, and then all of a sudden, again, your trajectory into not only interacting with people one on one, you're now keynote speaking, you're, speaking on stages. It's incredible what your mother and father must be like, where did he come from? So before I introduce your company, tell me about how were you making money when you were just networking? I'm sure people are going to want to know how were you, in real estate, we make a referral fee. It's usually a 25% referral fee, but I've never made money through my introductions over my career otherwise. So how did you make monetary referrals?
So there's two ways to do it. So one, back then, this again about 15 years ago, I was working for a very small company doing audio visual installations for meeting rooms in offices, for video conferencing equipment, projectors, that kind of thing. So we were looking for companies who are about to relocate to a new office, so they would need an AV supplier to install their meeting rooms. And so a big chunk of my job back then, I was working in business development. So my job was to find new clients. But most
Okay.
people with a business development job would spend their whole day cold calling or cold emailing, right? That's what most people do. But I realized I never want to do that. I hate cold calling. I hate cold emailing. Not my thing. And so instead of that, I focused 100% of my energy on networking to talk to other people to figure out when they were going to move to a new office, or
Okay.
excuse me, talk to other commercial real estate vendors who are selling office furniture, office lighting, office electricity, office moves. All these adjacent companies who work in commercial real estate are all looking for clients. And so they find out information about what company is about to move to a new office in 6 months or 12 months, etc. And then we could pass on this information to each other in that trusted circle of super
Right.
networkers. A
I
big chunk
love
of
it.
the money I was making was commissions on new customers I was bringing to my company, my tiny little company.
Got it.
So that was one way to make money. But then very quickly, I realized that most people in this industry love to pay each other referral commission, right? It's very common. It's a very common business
Right.
model. Billions of dollars of sales are done with referral commissions where someone introduced you to a client, and after you've closed the deal, you pay them a percentage as a referral commission. As you said, in real estate, it's 25%. In commercial real estate, depending on the type of service, it could be 1% if it's $1 million deal, or if it's just
Yeah.
services, might be 20%. It really depends on each type of service, right? And so, really, a big chunk of that revenue was referral commissions,
Wow.
and of course, commissions on my own sale. And so, really, there's a whole cottage industry of referral programs and referral people. I call them introducers who are monetizing networking either by getting net new clients or by getting paid to bring clients to other people. And most people are more than happy to pay you a referral commission if you bring them a client.
Right.
It's very most
Absolutely.
people do
Because
it.
it's a warm lead. It's a serious lead. So with that, we want to introduce. We're going to have to skip all my other questions because now with that, we have to introduce what you're doing today with IntroStars. So let's break it down. It clearly what you did goes right into it. And so break it down for us. I am a member and I'm super excited. And I started connecting with people. So I got to get in there and drill down on it. But share IntroStars with us.
Yeah, so everyone knows that business model of paid referrals. People send a referral to each other, people pay each other referral commissions. But a lot of this is done again with no proper structure. Sometimes people sign a referral agreement, sometimes not. Sometimes they send each other a bunch of emails, but there's no real tracking mechanism. What if you introduce two people to each other and the deal only happens 6 months later? No, they completely forgot about you back by that time. So IntroStars is really the infrastructure to make this whole process completely seamless, one click away, and make sure that if you get a referral, you make a referral, it's completely tracked, it's legally protected, and the payment of the referral commission is done also via the platform. So you can use IntroStars either to receive introductions to your ideal customers, where you simply describe your ideal client and you post it on IntroStars with the reward you're happy to pay to an introducer on success. And you post that on a platform. And then there's an army of introducers, of super connectors who go to IntroStars, who see what people are looking for, and then send you introductions and referrals. And if you close a deal, let's say 3 weeks later, a month later, 6 months later, you then pay them a referral commissions, which you set yourself. You set the reward yourself. So really, you can use IntroStars as a warm referral lead generation platform. But then on the other side, you can use IntroStars as an introducer, as a super connector, where you sign up on the platform completely free. You simply look at what people are looking for, what introductions they're looking for, and then think about who you know in your network, who you could introduce to them, who fits what they're looking for. Make the introduction. The platform generates the introduction email for you. It's like one click away, super easy, one click. It's all tracked over time. And if a deal happens a few months later, you get an email saying, hey, the $5,000 commission waiting for you. Click here to retrieve it. And so you can really use it to start helping people with great referrals and getting paid for it. This can become a proper side hustle or side gig, or it can become a full-time job even as an introducer.
It was
And
just,
you
it's
right, yeah.
amazing. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, I've been doing it all my life referring. It's in my head. I just see people, I see connections. I put best friends together just because I saw something in them. And the thing is, it's very hard to track or you forget. I actually tracked down an agent who was referred. through him from his assistant, and I actually tracked him down 2 years through two email addresses because I believe in being fair and honest. And even though the agreement had long since expired, I wanted to pay that person. That's how integrous I am, I guess you'd say. But I love the
Yeah.
idea that you can track it, it's there. And I didn't know the different aspects. I didn't know the three things that you mentioned are so great, but to be able to, for me, because I'm always connecting people naturally, it's just how my mind thinks. So I can go in there and see what is needed, and then I can be very strategic. So yeah, as you were talking, I'm like, oh my God, I have to just take the day and go in there and start playing because it's incredible. It really is
Yeah.
because everyone's
Great.
looking for a referral.
And it is so easy, and people just love connecting people. It's like a fun thing to do. You're having fun, and you're potentially helping people, and you're potentially earning a lot of money as well. So it's kind of win-win-win. Everyone wins. And so really,
Absolutely.
we want to position IntroStars as a community of super
Right.
connectors, a community of people
Right.
who just love connecting people, who just love introducing people. If someone is already a super connector, they can join IntroStars right now for free, makes a bunch of intros. And if you're not a super connector, but you want to just dip your toes and say, okay, I could make 2 or 3 introductions just to try it out. Go for it. And this could be a path to a new career. I meet a lot of people who are bored in their job. They don't really know what to do with their life. They have no purpose. They just got laid off because of all the Silicon Valley layoffs, etc. So what should they do with their life? Like, why not be a connector? Why not be an introducer? That is a new career path we're offering millions of people. So I think that's really exciting. In the age of
It is.
AI, so many jobs are going away, but what's staying is human relationships, trust,
Oh,
right?
so
Connecting.
true. So, well, let's talk about that human connection and not. I was talking with someone yesterday on a podcast, and I was explaining how in real estate or anything you do, AI can't replace us having community and having conversation and relationships. So, do you want to talk a little bit on the importance of actually this face to face and communication and collaboration?
100%. And it all comes down to trust. No one trusts AI. If you receive a cold message written by an AI spam bot, and that message arrives in your inbox, whether it's your LinkedIn box, your email, you're going to delete it right away. You're not even going to read it because you know it was sent by a random person using an AI tool. It's all automated. And they send that same message to 20 million people with just a few words changed by AI. And we all know we can sniff it a million miles away. You can sniff it, I can sniff it, of course. And we just delete those messages right away because there's zero trust. There's literally no trust at all because it just comes from some random email address. However, the opposite is a completely different scenario. If you receive an email or a LinkedIn message from someone you know, someone you've actually met in person, you shook their hand, you met them at a networking event, you actually got to share some of your personal stories with that person. When you get a message from that person, you will stop what you're doing and you're going to read that message because there is
Right.
a level of trust with that person, right? And again, AI will never replace that. You can have a million AI spam bots sending you messages, you'll never read them. Whereas if you get a message from someone you know and trust, you're going to read that message. And that's a fundamental difference, not a small detail. That is the
Right.
fundamental mechanics of human relationships. So think about people out there, real estate agents, property developers, looking for buyers or clients. They can send a million spammy messages all day. The response rates are going to go down and down and down and down to zero because no one trusts those emails anymore. But if they build a relationship with someone or work via a super connector, a networker who actually knows that person, that's a complete game changer. And so, really, the message I'm trying to send out there is spend less time spamming people with AI spam bots and spend more time getting to know people and working with super connectors like yourself, Debbie, to really connect people on a human level. Ask for warm introductions, make warm introductions, and focus on those warm introductions. Instead of spending all your time on AI spam bots. and
I
I
agree with you. I mean, it's only been 2.5 years since maybe 2 years, I joined BNI Business Networking International when the kids were growing up. It was real estate and kids activities. And so when they went off to college and grew up, I had to reinvent myself and figure out what was I going to do other than, I could do real estate 24 hours a day, but I had to recreate, I had to find new communities. When I landed in BNI a couple years ago by a friend who pushed me into it, I was like, wow, I found my community, my people. They want to help too. I'm so used to helping and sharing and giving. It's just my nature. And it was so great. Like, wow, this is works in tandem. And people want to be connected. And then I went on to meet people like JoJo, who I introduced you to, or you met her, or whatever. We're in that circle at Tornado, and she does like 10 one-on-ones a day. However, let's go to you. You are doing so many meetings. So let's go to talk about being a founder. What does that mean, and where did you come from before you got to IntroStars?
You know what? My parents were actually entrepreneurs. So when I grew up as a kid, I was already in a family business, like a startup. Really, they were doing merchandising and licensing of artwork, merchandising license on loads of products, where that artwork would be reproduced everywhere, and my parents got a cut of every sale of those products. So as a kid, I grew up in this spirit of an entrepreneurial spirit, where I thought one day in the future I will have my own business, right? But then I worked through 9 different companies. I had my career in tech sales. I worked for 30 years in tech sales and partnerships for big tech companies. But in the back of my head, I always thought maybe one day I'll launch my own startup. And when I started going to all these networking events 10, 15 years ago, I started meeting more and more young, ambitious startup founders. And that really inspired me. I thought all these people in their 20s were launching startups by themselves and building businesses, and they're all like such really smart, driven people, full of ambition, full of optimism and positive energy, and wanted to create something new. And that just inspired me, just hanging out with all these people. And I realized I could be one of them. If they can do it, I can do it. And just going to so many networking events surrounded by startup founders really motivated me to one day do my own startup. And then when I started going to all these networking events, it kind of all clicked together. I realized all these referrals are being done under the table. I thought if only there was a platform to track referrals and to pay out introduction fees. And it didn't exist. And I thought, I see all these founders, I see all these referral people. Can I just do it myself? Can I just build this myself as my startup? And then it kind of all came together. I started working on my startup IntroStars. When I was surrounded by all these people, and I thought I was going to do this as a side hustle while I work in my day job career. But then I joined this small startup no one had heard about called Zoom video conferencing. And I was employee number 6 in Europe at the very beginning of the company. And I was building the partner program in 35 countries in Europe, and so from scratch. And so that was obviously a full-time job. I was working 7 days a week till midnight every day during COVID. As you can imagine, completely exploded. So I had no more time to work on my startup. I kind of put it on a shelf on the side, thinking one day in the future I'll bring IntroStars to life. And so I stayed at Zoom nearly 6 years, an amazing experience. Absolutely loved it. And it
Wow.
completely changed the world. And then three years ago, I left Zoom to work full time on IntroStars. So I took it off the shelf and built it as a final product and finally launched it into the world. And so really, my journey was just meeting a lot of other inspirational startup founders, gave me the mental energy to do it myself.
It's incredible. What a story. We have to take a commercial break in 1 minute, but who are the types of people that you are meeting when you go to these events? What is your ask, or what's happening at those meetings for you specifically?
Every time I go to an event, the first question, or one of the few questions I ask people I meet, is who could I introduce to you? That's the first one, because I would truly want to help others. But then when they ask me they can help me, I say, do you know any super connectors? And those are the people I want to bring into my tribe. Those are the people I love to meet. People like yourself, obviously, and Jojo. So that's really the people I love to meet, for sure.
I love it. We're going to go in quick commercial break, but I already have like 5 people I need to get on the platform. I'm like, I got to get working. I got to get on it. I'm so excited. So we'll be right back with Mike Adams.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant. Like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical. Mike Zorek, a three-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a six-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2/3, and 2/4. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorek, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorek has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk.
Welcome back to Mastering the Art of Success. I'm your host, Debbie DiMaggio. We are having an energetic conversation with Mike Adams. He's coming to us from London. However, I will be visiting with him on his podcast in San Francisco in the next 2 weeks. So I look forward to that. So let's continue this. Okay, so it sounds like a founder has such an interesting life. I know one thing. I know you guys work, some of you round the clock. And so it's a lot. First, I want to know how many people are on your team at IntroStars. Where did it start? When did it launch? Give us a little background.
When you run a startup, you have to wear 25 different hats and do everything, whether it's product, legal, recruitment, the developers, everything. So there's always a lot to do as a founder, and you want to find people you really vibe with. And so I've already had a bit of drama. Like most founders, you make a lot of mistakes, and sometimes you hire people and it's just not the right vibe. So I already got rid of 2 different developers, software developers. So the developer I've got today, Matej, he's amazing. Absolutely love him to bits. He's full-time working on IntroStars with me. So that's my software developer. And he's incredible. So he's building the whole technology for IntroStars. And there's lots of unique technology like AI recommendations for introduction you can make. We make it super easy, one click. So again, there's lots of unique stuff there. Then I've got my brother, Greg, who's a super connector in the DC area. He just knows everyone. He's been to 60 countries. He speaks 7 languages. So he's incredible. So he's my strategic advisor, helping me on the startup. Then I've got a community leader and community connector in New York City called Ben Yerkison. He's the ultimate super connector in New York. Very charismatic. He knows everyone. He goes to a million networking events. He's like a better looking version of me in New York City. So he's the man from New York City. And I'm about to hire 3 more community connectors in the San Francisco Bay Area. And so we've already launched IntroStars as a community of super connectors in London and New York with more than 2,200 users already live right now. And we're about to expand to San Francisco and the Bay Area the first week of June 2026. So very, very soon, with 3 rooftop launch parties, with loads of super connectors. And we're also doing 15 episodes of the Super Connectors podcast. You're going to be one of the guests on the show. We're doing something very special there for a big bang launch. 15 podcasts, 3 rooftop parties, all of that over 3 days. So it's going to be really incredible. And so all the guests of the podcast, we record back-to-back episodes over 3 days, and then we all go for drinks and brunch together. So it's kind of a mini networking event for the guests of the podcast, which is called the Super Connectors. They're very much on point with everything we've been talking about. Right? Incredible.
Well, I think I need to come I have to come more than once. I should come every night to the Super Connector rooftop because there's going to be the best of Super Connector. So I take advantage of that. That's incredible. I'm thrilled to be in town to come to that. So let's talk about the life of a founder. It's kind of exciting. So tell us where you were right before this meeting. And I don't know how you physically propelled yourself from where you were. So tell us about the Google thing and then tell us about the cold plunge thing. And
Yeah, listen, I'm always excited to go to as many networking events as I can and in different formats of events. And so, still try to go to at least 5 to 10 events a week, even though I used to go to 15 a week. So I cut it down a bit. So today I started my day at 7:45 a.m. in my bathing suit at a networking event with 35 startup founders, operators, and investors. We're on our bathing suits in 4 saunas and cold plunges. And so the idea is that we split in small groups in 3 different saunas with 3 different speakers talking about specific topics for startups. So one was go-to-market strategy, one was personal brand and fundraising, etc. And the idea was to stay 10, 15 minutes in each sauna, have a little group conversation, and then all go to ice cold plunges, and then do a bit of networking, and then go back to the next sauna with the next expert. So this whole experience lasts about 2.5 hours, networking in our bathing suits. So that was this morning, 7:45 a.m. Super incredible. Then I went straight back home to record a podcast with another incredible super connector, who I met in Silicon Valley, but who's also based in London, next to London, Brighton. Then I went to another networking event at Google, at the Google headquarters in London, with 250 startup founders and investors. And I was at that networking event just now on the rooftop on a gorgeous day, sunny day. And I literally left the event early to be back home in central London to record this podcast. In a couple of days, I'm going back to San Francisco to prepare my pre-launch event via Palm Springs for a conference. So really, firing on all cylinders, right? The fun never
you are
stops.
firing on all cylinders. Give us 2 takeaways from whichever event today. You learned a lot today, I'm sure. What are 2 takeaways that you can share with our guests?
I would say try to go to different types of networking events with different types of audiences. So if you work in real estate, for example, I would not only go to real estate conferences. So that's really limiting yourself. I would go to any kind of networking event for business owners, for founders, for other industries, and just get to know people and ask them, what introduction could I make for you? Because even if you work in real estate, clearly you know people across every industry, right? Everyone needs a house or an
Right.
apartment. So, it's not just real estate. And so widening your network reach for me is a game changer, so especially people in real estate. And then the second thing is every time you meet someone at one of those events, always ask people what introduction you can make for them. I think that's a game changer because then people see you as a helper and they lower their barriers and actually want to help you and work with you instead of you pitching your business for 5 minutes, right? Which doesn't appeal to anyone, right?
Absolutely.
That's the old way of
Absolutely.
doing things. That doesn't work anymore, right? And so nowadays it's about helping others first, and that will elevate your personal brand and your reputation. I think that will make a big difference. So what I've learned today is networking in your bathing suit is a really fun activity. So if you like saunas and cold plunges, there's a bunch of networking events now happening. I know in New York, you're doing a bunch of them at a place called Othership. They're doing networking events in your bathing suit in a sauna and cold plunge. In London, there's a place called ARC, ARC, where they do that. And in San Francisco, they're opening a brand new one very soon where they're going to start organizing networking events in your bathing suit as well in San Francisco.
Wow.
I
Yeah,
forgot
I
what
have.
I forgot the name. I'm sure you can look it up.
Do they
It's
have
just
one in LA yet? I
uh,
would,
I don't know. They might. I don't know
yeah,
LA, but yeah, definitely it's a
yeah,
movement. It's happening. I think
it's a
it's a new
movement. That's,
trend. And then
yeah,
the other trend I've been hearing about lately, which is kind of a new way to think about things, is the term community-led growth. And that's kind of a trendy topic or something everyone talks about, which is if you have a business, whatever your business is, it's not about finding individual customers for your business. It's about finding a community who are excited by what you're doing and be part of that community to help members of the community and building your own community around your product or service. And I think that that's another way to position your product or service, that it's all about community-led growth, community-led initiatives, and building your community, finding your tribe. It's all about that. I think everyone understands the value of social bonding, of social networking. BNI is a very good example, of course, that's a great community. IntroStars is obviously a community of super connectors. So yeah, find your community, find your tribe, and even you can cross pollinate across communities. I'm part of 16 different communities, right? And I go to all of them, And you can cross pollinate, do joint events together, invite the members of one community into another, and vice versa, et cetera, et cetera. So I think in today's world of AI overload, focus on human relationships, human trust, community, and in-person events.
Well, I have an ask that I would love to be connected with some of those communities that you're part of, but it's when things happen. Obviously, this was meant to be that you were here, but on Saturday, you were just mentioning community. So I just wrote Mindset in Motion, Activate Purpose, Power, and Peak Performance, my book that just hit #1 best-selling Amazon in 3 business categories. But I
Oh,
am launching Saturday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Anyone's invited. I would be honored if you joined. I don't know where in the world you're going to be, but it's 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it's called Mindset in Motion, Elevate and Collaborate Mastermind. So it is all about community and elevating and collaborating. And I'm going to discuss the book briefly, and then we're going to have breakout rooms, and I'm going to go through my framework, the Mindset in Motion framework, so I can help people activate and figure out what it is and achieve their goals through activation. So I'd love it. I'll send you a link, and if you're around or if you want to share it with anyone, 8 o'clock on Saturday on Zoom.
oh, cool. Excited. I can't wait. Yeah, I'll be in London, so that's perfect. Really big
Okay,
event.
awesome. That's great. So you talk
Excited.
about the intro economy. How do you define it, and why do you believe introductions are becoming one of the most valuable currencies in business?
You know, if you think about how business has been done over the last 100 years, every major deal in the world is done via introduction, about people who know each other, people who trust each other, handshakes, warm referrals, warm intros. So the world has been working on introductions and warm referrals for the last 100 years. There's nothing new about it. But what's new is that now anyone can do it. It's not just the elites, the people who went to these Ivy schools. No, now anyone off the street can make an introduction and get paid a few $1,000s if a deal gets done out of that. So we're democratizing the intro economy for millions of people to build that as a side hustle, as a job. And so that's what's new about it. Intro economy is really creating this gig economy, this side hustle for millions of people to join that intro economy and start really earning money from it. It's a real business. It's not like a nice to have. It's not like, oh yeah, these $1 million deals are done with introduction. No, the intro economy itself, if you just count the money in referral commission, just that is tens of billions of dollars paid out in referral commissions each year across all industries. And so anyone can now join this intro economy and get paid a chunk of those billions of dollars in referral commissions. So literally the business model of getting paid for referrals is now taking over. I think that's going to be the major business model in the future. Again, when AI has completely destroyed trust among random strangers, the only thing that remains is trusted relationships, trusted warm intros from trusted connections. And so really this intro economy is going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And I can really imagine a future where it will become a normal thing for millions of people to earn money from referrals. Just refer people, get paid $5 grand a month or 10 grand a month, whatever it is. I think that's going to become a movement like Uber or Airbnb, all these other side hustles or side gigs, which become career path for people. I think introducing people will become a major career path. And so that's what I define as the intro economy, where it becomes a true career to
Mhm.
introduce people for money. And if you think about it, lots of jobs in life are already related to it. So if you think about recruiters, they get paid to introduce candidates and clients. If you think about real estate agents, you connect buyers and sellers. You're already connecting people. If you think about matchmakers, they connect people for love, right? So all these
Right.
jobs are already adjacent to the intro economy, of course. But now it's become literally a job for anyone off the street. Everyone can become an introducer and start earning money. So I truly believe that's a very positive future. It's a very exciting future. And it's all about connecting people together, which is very spiritual. It's about helping others
I
with
was
great
just
connections.
going to say it's a win-win for everyone. The company doing what they're doing, launching their product, and they need referrals, and they need it's a win-win for everyone involved in it. So I have a question. So you're at a meeting today with founders and investors, right? So I have part of a company that they're looking for investors. It's incredible AI technology. I know there's a lot of things happening in AI right now.
Yeah.
It's to help our athletes. It's to help anyone, but you can, if you go high level athletes, the military, um, you're identifying what's in your body, what's wrong with your body before it actually snaps. So it's incredible. I've been in LA into the sound room and to the studio to experience it. It's pretty incredible. How do I connect with people, the investors who or founders who would be interested in me making a warm introduction? Is there some
So,
magic to that?
yeah, there's a few things there. So, introducing investors and founders is a very specific type of introduction because it's actually regulated, right, by the FCC. To introduce an investor to a founder and get paid a commission, you have to be a registered broker or financial advisor, because otherwise it's actually illegal to introduce an investor to a founder if you get paid a commission. So on IntroStars, for example, we do not facilitate introductions to investors, right, on purpose. So that because of that rule, because it's regulated. Also, there's a bunch of other platforms out there which are specialized only in matchmaking founders and investors. So there's a whole cottage industry. There's about 7 or 8 of these platforms out there. One is called InvestorMatch.pro. One is called InvestorMatch.ai. There's a few other ones, and I'm happy to share that with anyone who asks me. But really, there's a whole cottage industry of matchmaking between founders and investors. It's a very specific type of introduction. So I don't really focus my energy or my product or my community on that type
Okay,
of introduction, right? However, to answer your question, how do you do it? If you speak to most founders out there, 80% of founders are fundraising at any given time, right? So it's
right,
very easy to find founders looking for investors. And then it's very easy to meet investors. So if you just go to LinkedIn, you type
right,
angel investor, you're going to find 10,000 results right away of people defining themselves as investors. The problem is the matchmaking part. You really need to find investors who are passionate about the same problem as what the founder is solving. And I realize many investors, their investment thesis is a bit too vague. They say, oh, I just invest in wellness or in health or in biotech or in B2B SaaS. That's too vague, actually, because you need to be super niche to be passionate about the exact same problem that a founder is solving, right? So you really need to get to know these investors a bit more intimately or ask them, what do you nerd out about? What is your super niche thing you're nerd out about to do a good connection with a founder. Um, so, my experience with angel investors, it's a very emotional decision. It's not just about the money. It is really
right.
an emotional decision, and so
Okay.
they need to vibe. There needs to be that vibe between the investor and the founder, and also about the industry and the problem they're solving. To give you an example, I went on vacation to Peru on holiday, and I made a friend. I met a friend, David, super cool guy. We became friends just visiting Peru together, and he invested in my startup. And that's just because we create that emotional connection as friends, that he believed in me as a person. It's not someone I met online who's not introduced to me. It's just because we had that emotional connection, that trust, right?
Right.
And so again, a lot of it happens, it comes down to that trusting relationship. Do they get along with you? Do they like your vibe? There's a bit of vibe matching there, right? As an introducer, you vibe match people, right?
So so you were, I didn't know anything, I haven't done this before, but so I didn't know about the broker and the registered and all that. If you saw someone on LinkedIn that was an angel investor, would I be able to connect those people, or is that a violation?
No. So you can connect investors and founders. That's fine. The issue is getting paid a referral commission. That's the issue. That you cannot get paid a percentage of the investment as a referral commission unless you're a registered broker or financial advisor. So that's the rule. It's a commission. Now, of course, there are ways around it. You could charge a service fee, right? Again,
Okay.
there's always a workaround, right? So there's ways around that.
Okay. And taking shares in the company or no?
It's a gray area. The
Right.
SEC could say that you got paid a commission in shares. So gray area. Again, I would be a bit cautious about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, so I'm talking to you and you've become a friend of mine. Can I can I introduce you to this company?
Of course, absolutely. I'm more than happy to meet with them. Obviously, I want to try their app, of course. I want to try it
Yeah,
myself. I'm a biohacker myself. I love wellness, longevity. So I'm super interested in that topic. So I would love to meet them anyway. And even if
right,
I don't invest myself or don't know an immediate investor for them, and actually I might know a few investors who are investing in
right,
longevity hacking, I would be interested to help them in any way I can, whether it's mentorship, advice, introductions to other people in the same industry, events, I could introduce them to. There's always ways we can help founders. I meet
right,
founders every day. I don't invest in them, but I help them.
right,
Them
right.
was
You help them with your super connecting.
yeah. So I just want to help people, and it's about helping because you feel good about yourself when you're
Right,
helping other people out there, and by helping others, you always elevate your personal brand and your reputation, which is a good thing, right?
absolutely,
And so
absolutely,
that was another piece of advice I would give to anyone listening to this show is if you help other people at networking events by making introductions for them, that will help yourself because you're elevating your personal brand and reputation. So the best way to elevate your personal brand and reputation is to make introductions for other people.
absolutely, absolutely. Where I'm going to have them on at 8 o'clock, but I will make an introduction to them because I think you guys would have a lot to talk about. So IntroStars focuses on making introductions trackable, transparent, and financially rewarding. How does that change the traditional role model we're used to?
Yeah, so if you think about the way most business introductions are done, you go to a networking and say, "Oh yeah, I'll introduce you to Joe, whatever." You make the intro and then you forget about it. And like 3 months later, they just close $1 million deal. And maybe they send you a quick thank you, say, "Hey, thanks, Debbie. Thanks to you, I just closed $1 million deal." And they might buy a coffee. Maybe not. Maybe they forgot about you. They probably forgot the introduction came from you because they got 15 other
Yeah.
introductions at the time. So that's the way things typically happen. It's kind of a bit nebulous, a bit vague. They might forget about you. Maybe they'll remember you. Maybe not. Who knows? And then there's no tracking mechanism. Like it's a bunch of emails back and forth. Maybe you did the introduction via email. Maybe it was LinkedIn. Maybe it was WhatsApp. You don't remember. Maybe one of those. Who knows? You probably make 30 introductions a week. You probably don't remember half of them either, which is normal. Like so many people, how can you remember that stuff? And so in the traditional world, most introductions are just not tracked at all. And so maybe there was a discussion of a referral fee where they say, yeah, if you introduce me to a client, I'll pay you 10%. Maybe they told you that, but then they didn't follow through, right? Because they forgot about it, or they don't have an official tracking system, or they don't have an official referral agreement, which you have to send to you. You have to sign the referral agreement. You have to send it back to them. You have to send it to their legal team. There's so many steps involved in this tracking and legal protection system that most people just forget about. It's like, yeah, whatever, I'll just, follow up. We'll see how it goes. And so I'd say a majority of introductions really are forgotten about, are not tracked. And most introducers who actually deserve a fair compensation, meaning they deserve, a chunk of the deal, probably never get paid or rarely. Maybe once in a while you do get a referral commission, but it's not that common once in a while, right? So I want to be in a world where every introduction is tracked and you make those introductions because you truly want to help people. But if a deal comes out of that one introduction 6 months later, you will get your commission because it's fair. It's not about you being greedy or being money driven. It's nothing to do with that. You're there to help people, but it's about fair compensation. If you help someone with your reputation, you went out of your way to go out there and make an introduction for them. Your social capital was put on the line. It's fair compensation that you need to get a percentage of that transaction. It's not about money. It's about fairness. It's about fair
Right,
compensation. If someone gets paid, you need to get paid as well because you have value. They have
right,
value, you have value, everyone has value, right? And so it
right.
needs to be, for me, it's about fair compensation, right? And so that's really where IntroStars makes this completely transparent. With 3 clicks, it's all done, it's all transparent. The terms and conditions are there. The referral fee will get paid. The person who got the introduction gets weekly reminders to update the status of the introduction when a deal gets done. So it's all super transparent, super clear. And so that's a game changer, I think, in the world of introductions.
Absolutely. Well, any last words? I had more questions, but of course, the hour is up. So, how do people get a hold of you? What is there a special code we can use today? I'm going to go send out a ton of emails as soon as we get off this podcast.
So first of all, everyone who's based in the San Francisco Bay Area needs to join our launch parties the first week of June. The 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th of June, we're doing 3 rooftop parties with amazing super connectors, startup founders, people from every industry. It's going to be incredible. To find those events, go to Luma and look for IntroStars on Luma, which is our event platform, or connect with me on LinkedIn. You'll see it in my LinkedIn post. My name is Mike Adams, but my LinkedIn handle is Super Mike. So very easy to remember. So linkedin.com/in/supermike. So I post everything on LinkedIn. And then we're about to launch IntroStars in the San Francisco Bay Area again, first week of June. So simply go to introstars.com, sign up for free. As an introducer, you can make introductions for other people. And if you want to post what introductions you want to receive, you can use a special promo code for all the listeners of this show. And the promo code at checkout is get paid for intros with a number 4. So get paid, number 4, intros. Get paid for intros. So that's a promo code at checkout. And with that, you can post your referral request completely free forever. You get a completely free access instead of $99 a month. So completely free. And you can start receiving loads of referrals to your ideal client as soon as we launched first week of June, very soon.
Wow. Well, this was so exciting. I'm so glad we were able to get you in. I think I met you 10 days ago and it's just taken off. So thank you so much, Mike Adams from IntroStars. I look forward to meeting you live and in person in 10 days from now. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Debbie. Loved it.
Tune in each week for another episode of Mastering the Art of Success with host Debbie DiMaggio. Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern. Real stories, real strategies, real success.